This episode is a tale of a man whose wife hid things, lied, and had an online relationship, and he's wanting to know if he should reconcile or where he should even begin. Let's see if we can help him, shall we? I'm not sure if I want to divorce my wife over this, but I'm at least going to separate for a while. I called her parents and told them that she would be staying with them for a while and that I was bringing her stuff. I didn't explain exactly what was going on, but they know that it's bad and that their daughter screwed up. Her mother begged me not to do anything rash. I just told her that she needed to talk to her daughter. Amy has returned the guy's money and swears she never intended to take him up on his offer. She says she knows it was wrong not to tell me what she was doing and gaslighting me and going behind my back. She wants to make it right. She again suggested therapy, and I said I was going to do that, but it needed to be separately. She cried and said she didn't want to be with anyone else and that she just got caught up in all the attention, but she never would have slept with anyone else. She didn't outright say it, but I know all of this stems a bit from her always envying Mimi. Because though bookish, Mimi has always been thin and very attractive, and another is what I found in her history. Her YouTube and history dating back months are all these videos and websites about female empowerment and loving yourself, expressing yourself as a sexual being. A lot of it seems like she has low self-esteem or something, which I never really thought she did. The other stuff just seems like encouragement to cheat. I told her I was going to get tested, and she started screaming, saying she didn't have sex with anyone. I pointed out that she technically had sex with Mimi, and she just started sobbing. I don't know why, but the Mimi thing doesn't bother me. It's the lying, the deception, and all that about it. She's with her parents now, but has been texting me constantly. I've ignored her. I've also ignored Mimi, who has also been texting me. However, when I got home today, Buff Doug was at my house with sandwiches asking to talk. I am mad at Buff Doug, but not furious. He's always seemed like an honest, straightforward guy. We sat down and he apologized for not confirming with me that my wife had my permission. He also apologized because he believes part of this was his fault. I asked him what he meant, and he told me his story. Apparently, when Mimi started camming, it was 2 years ago almost. Mimi didn't tell me she was camming. Unlike Amy, Mimi started camming because she needed the money. Buff Doug had been hurt at his job and Mimi hadn't been making enough money at hers. Buff Doug said he flipped his crap when he found out, and despite all the excuses, he felt betrayed and wanted to break up with Mimi. They worked through it because he loved Mimi, and if this was what she wanted to do, he would support her and their relationship got stronger for it. Buff Doug thinks Mimi has told a version of that story that made my wife think it'd eventually be okay. He says he doesn't think that she really emphasized how the relationship almost didn't survive the keeping secrets and how she had done it behind his back. Buff Doug told me that what Amy did was wrong and I have every right to want to divorce her over it. He believes what Amy did was way worse than what Mimi did because when he confronted her, she was honest with him. I asked him plain if he ever got off to my wife, and he shrugged and said, yeah, but not while he was filming. He did watch the videos later. It made my skin crawl, but I respected his honesty. He told me that he didn't mean to be a part of ruining my relationship, and that he hoped that in time, it all can be repaired. He says he thinks I should take time and just be away from Amy and see if moving on or living without her is what I really want. He then told me that I need to sit down and lay down a list of demands. He also suggested I get a lawyer involved just in case, so Amy understands this is real. He says he knows I love her, and I'm just furious right now, and I want retribution. He says he felt emasculated too. He told me not to blame myself. He said I could blame him, Mimi, and my wife, but not to blame myself. He says he believes I can reconcile and that our relationship can be repaired, but only if Amy is willing to admit her wrongs without excuses and understands how bad she betrayed me. He suggested I don't do anything right away and just let her be for a while and see what she does. Put the ball in her court. I don't know why, but I guess that made me feel better. I should be pissed at Buff Doug, but I kind of respect him. So I told him not to show up at my place again unannounced, not until I sort how I feel in my head. He was cool, and he shook my hand. He told me Mimi wanted to apologize to me, and I told him I wasn't ready for that, but I would talk to him later. This is all like beyond whatever I thought I'd ever have to deal with. Like, What am I supposed to do? I know for a fact that I'm going to get counseling, but I'm not sure I'll ever feel right about how Amy went about this. It's not even the camming or any of that. She lied to me, gaslighted me. It's like now I know she's capable of great deception and manipulation, and that's hard to see past right now. And she could just as easily been screwing these dudes. I love this woman. I do. I really do. But I hate this situation. I hate what she's done. This wedge she's put between us. If, and it's a big if I wanted to reconcile, where do I even start? I do not want to see her for the foreseeable future. I'm thinking of traveling back home to my parents. COVID be damned. I think I need to spend a few months away to start. Has anyone come back from something like this? Seemed like a lot of random thoughts there for a minute. Let's see what the update says. Some people have their opinions, and I wanted to address them. To start, I know I seem very calm and relaxed about this. Rational even. Even other Doug and Amy's sister, 26 female, Clara, are all kind of worried about how calm I seem about this. I assure you, I'm anything but calm. But I had serious anger and rage issues in my childhood, and I've been taught to channel that energy into rational thought. No, it isn't easy. Yes, I have had dangerous thoughts. But I have to make choices that get me to where I want to be, and rash outbursts never do that. That's a quote, by the way. I don't remember the doctor's name. Firstly, I don't know what Mimi and Amy did off camera, if anything. I don't feel the same way about Mimi and Amy because I know the two of them had experimented in their younger days. And back in college, there was a thing between the three of us. So the thought in my head is different. I don't know what they did off camera, but on camera, there was very little interacting between the two of them. I don't know how to describe it without being graphic. Just, they did their things together but separate. No using toys on each other. That's why I use the word with. It's still a violation because there was no permission, and this was hidden from me. Secondly, I believe Buff Doug because of Amy's reputation in her past. The whole Amy and Mimi with another guy thing came up before we were married, and one of the reasons that wasn't something they ever tried is Mimi was always the one with the boyfriend, and Mimi don't share. I don't know much about it, but back before folks were grown and married, Mimi had wanted to try stuff like that, but never with anyone she was dating. People may change, but I'm basing my opinions on that experience and how Buff Doug is. People aren't as good at lying as you think, and right now, given all the evidence and my read on the people and the situation, I'm inclined to believe Buff Doug. There's always the possibility, but as a lot of people have stated, it's about what I can and cannot believe, where my own personal doubts are, who and what I can trust. Right now, no matter how hard I try to get worked up about this and just trust, so far that side of it seems to be in the believable. Third, Amy deleted some texts and stuff, but her iPhone was on the cloud, and after following some advice from folks, the first time I posted, I was able to get back all the deleted texts. I was able to go through her internet history as she deleted some stuff, but her Google tracked everything. Thanks to the internet wizards who walked me through that. I went through the financials and everything with other Doug, and I've gone through Mimi's site. One thing is they wear masks and stuff, but if you know them, you can tell. I mean, Mimi has this big, obvious tattoo. I also went through the Twitter. I have Amy's phone now, by the way, and have been using it to get more information out of the fan. I originally came to take it for that purpose, but I also wanted her to stop freaking texting me. Fourth, her parents know that she's there cause she was unfaithful. She won't tell them exactly what happened, but I told them a manicured version of it. That she was trading naughty images and FaceTimes with another man. Clara, her sister, knows the full story from Mimi. I thought you guys were all pitchforks and fire. Clara's been insisting that I divorce Amy as well, calling Amy spoiled and ungrateful. I knew Clara before I knew Amy, back in school. Clara and I were friends. She introduced me to Amy, and Amy has thought Clara was jealous, and I never agreed. But she's way angrier about this than I am, so I don't know. Clara is also another person who Mimi apparently wanted to do things with her and her boyfriend when they were younger, and has also told me the story recently about how Mimi does not feel the same when it comes to her boyfriends. I also found out that Clara and Amy Have known about Mimi camming since it began. 5th, I have not talked much to Amy. I haven't read her texts. I really haven't listened to her excuses or explanations past the initial time I drove her up there with her stuff. I was up there today to get the phone and to have a long talk with her parents. I told them and Clara if she doesn't give me the phone immediately and stay in her room, I was just going to leave and I wasn't coming back. She was screaming and crying from upstairs, but Clara kept her up there. It sounded like a fight, so no. I really don't know how the genuine Amy's regret, remorse, or any of that is. I'm not listening or paying attention. As some other people have pointed out, right now she's probably just distraught. She got caught and reacting to the idea that her normal is about to change. I think time apart, time away from me will decide this. She may wake up in a week and feel liberated. This may be just what she needed to go off and be her true self. I don't know. I just don't think listening to her right now will help any of us. Plus, I don't think I can believe a lot of what she says. 6th, I've decided to speak to my lawyer on Monday to get the ball rolling. Whether I reconcile or not, I'm going to drop the papers and get all that in order. I don't know where my headspace will be at. Doug thinks we should try to get Mimi's hard drives or something. Though, I'm computer literate, and I was there when we went through the folders. Everything was in a folder under Amy's name, and there were no hidden files or anything. Mimi and Buff Doug aren't what I consider computer savvy, but who the hell knows? Either way, wrong or right, I'm going with Mimi and Doug being mostly honest about their parts in this, especially now that I've seen the texts about this situation between Mimi and Amy over the time this was going down. I will say, Mimi was on the tell me train from the beginning, and through the messages was only down with the idea of toys and playing. Threesomes were never brought up, but telling me was brought up a lot, and Amy saying she was going to get to it. Mimi flat out told her that she had kept this from Buff Doug and it almost killed their relationship, and that she didn't think I would be forgiving about it. I'm pissed because Mimi's texts make it very clear that Amy knew dealing with this fan was a no-go and way across the line, and she threatened to tell me if Amy continued. Amy continued, and Mimi got more frantic about it. One text even said if Amy was really thinking of screwing this guy, that she needs to tell me she wants a divorce. Amy maintained that she didn't want anything physical though. I'm disgusted because it seems like she was just using this guy and was pretty proud of it. Anyway, I've got a lot to think about here, but I'm not going to be doing it from my home. I've got to get away from everyone. So I'm going to North Carolina with everyone for a while and returning home where my family is and where I can get the emotional support I need. I will only make a decision on Amy after I feel I'm better mentally and really. It'll come down to whether or not I can move forward with her, because she could be 100% honest, do everything right, and be a good and loyal wife. That may never erase misgivings. I got to know that I can handle that, and if I make the decision right now, I'm like, no, I can't. But I know that's an initial reaction. I also know in the back of my mind and in my heart, I don't want to throw away 8 years. But I won't stand for this kind of disrespect. But I also don't want to be driven by the idea that someone's getting something over on me. I've been there. It's not a good thing. And let's drive you. Alright, now let's see a little back and forth between the OP and Enormit. Enormit starts us off with, there's way too much nope in this for me. I would 100% be out. All of them are trash, dude. The OP responds, it's a lot. It really is. I'm trying to find out what I'm actually angry about and how I plan to deal with it. The easiest option is to just cut and run, and I'd be justified. But is it worth salvaging? Gotta say things were never bad until this. Right now. I want to let the shock and anger pass and be able to make sure choices are all based on what I think and how I feel without being overly emotional. They say the opposite of love is indifference, and I am anything but indifference right now. Enormit responded with, well, let's break it down. Your wife cheated on you, specifically lied and gaslit you. The only reason that she didn't escalate things even further is because she got caught. She took that money with the intention of blowing through it, regardless of what she says out of her liar mouth. Mimi had sex with your wife and willingly had her on the cam, knowing full well that you were completely unaware and likely would be okay with it. Buff Dog filmed your wife without checking if you're okay with it, which should have been the first freaking thing that popped in his head. Then, he admits to jerking off to the pics. They're all trash. The whole lot of them. None of them are your friends. Please, take as much time away from all of them to make sure you make the best decision for you.